sign.
The mouse is not great, okay?
And the R doesn't really have a big side to it, so it looked like pi not equal to n.
You know, you
Greater
could
than
just
Mac.
use the, you know, the line tool to make perfect shapes. Just say.
Or, and I mean, I'm just spitballing here, you could not just write nonsense on the screen.
But they're PCs.
So,
They're
Are
not
they?
nonsense.
I understand the pun, but admittedly I didn't before you said that. However, I do now, and still say it's nonsense.
I rather enjoy nonsense.
I'm honestly surprised it took this many months for it to happen.
I should have put Mac down a level too.
Well, then it wouldn't be a PC.
Exactly. Have you guys not seen like Mac versus
strong
PC?
advertising campaign that they were not like a PC?
There
I
you
mean,
go.
fair.
Because the PC was a older, successful man, and the Mac was a young, sarcastic man.
And we see
For
how
some
well that
reason,
held
being
up.
older and successful, it's really bad.
Yeah. How dare you grow old and be successful? What
Yeah.
a terrible thing to do and be.
How dare your investments bear fruit? Oh. Also, I'm pretty sure you're live at this point.
Yes, I am. We have been. I'm aware of it.
Yeah, I can see your calendar, and I've been trying to like let everyone know. Just
We're
to
certainly not dead yet.
Well, then, my
I
apologies.
mean, yet.
Mac,
I'm working on it.
Microsoft, if either of you want to give us money, I'll sell out.
Well, I mean, actually, no, I don't know if I'd sell out for Apple. I'll be honest with you. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Your standards, wow.
Apple, Nike, and Nestle. I don't know, bro.
Yeah, okay, well, you know, Nestle can go die in a fire. I'll say that one on stream. I won't take their blood money. I refuse.
You mean like
Cadbury,
one of the
though.
fires they've set?
Cadbury, though.
Yeah. Hershey's.
Cadbury, if you want to give us money or chocolate, you
Can we get a
you can
Well,
pay me
okay.
in chocolate.
He doesn't negotiate for me, by the way. Don't.
That's
Not affiliated.
it's not my channel.
Can I advocate for a Ben and Jerry sponsorship, please?
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, actually. All right, that's what we're gonna work on. We're gonna work on getting Ben and Jerry's up in here,
Then
So
you
the
bet-
next time our characters are screaming,
so that way he can make a Hasvard. So they can make a Hasvard flavored ice cream.
pumpkin ice cream. Heck yeah.
I would go for some.
Peppered
Although
pumpkin ice
hopefully
cream.
not pepper.
No. Peppermint, maybe. Who knows? That'd be weird, though.
Wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be?
I don't know.
Hmm.
My brain says maybe.
Maybe indeed.
Do some scone ice cream.
So, all right. I mean, I guess I you know I hit the button, so I guess we're actually here. And we started the thing.
Except all I can see is your calendar.
I should have changed that by now. I did not change it yet. Oops.
Nope. All I can see
Oh,
is
hang
your
on. Oh, I see what I did.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what? I'm a professional here. Everything's fine.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
this is-
no. I gotta hang on. I gotta click this button and then this button, and now I gotta go back here and go to properties, and I gotta change this back to Discord. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing. Don't worry.
You can cut this out in post. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't do it. Yeah, it's fine. It'll work. It'll work. Okay, there we go. We got me back. All right. I just gotta go down here because unfortunately these don't stick every week, despite my best efforts to have them do so. Okay. Nope. I changed the same. Wait. I actually didn't change it that time.
We're almost there. I can see the corner of the map.
You know, if you
Yeah.
put on your screen, it usually
no,
works.
I actually know what I did, but I didn't do anything wrong. It's actually reading incorrectly.
And
Sometimes the two window captures that I use will kind of get their wires crossed. And when I set it to one, it'll read as the other. But I think we're fine now. All right, we're good. We're
You've
good.
done it.
Oh, yeah, you are. You're right.
Yeah, good. Professional. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Well, since we've figured that out, someone help me figure out what happened last week, because I don't remember.
I'll tell you. We decided to be like, hey, creepy smoky dude that lets a child walk out of his smokiness and then has discussion with us. Let's be friends until we make it to what?
I don't like any part of that sentence, but continue.
No, me neither. That sounds creepy AF, man.
I know, that's the point. These people are very terrifying in my thought process. Anyways, we decide that we're going to go with them for, all the way, except we're not going to shake on it, because that's normal. We go with these lovely people who pick up their dark orb and split it into multiple pieces, and everyone carries a piece except for, everyone that's not a shadow person. And we decide to walk into a place of wild magic with this ragtag group of Goliaths and, us and shadow people. And people get turned into giant rabbits. I think
spiders.
Was it Fey rabbits? People got their gender changed. Some people got thrown into the realm of shadow. Some people had their arms put into the realm of shadow where they were ripped upon. Let's think. Bartel got very harshly roasted by her own handmaiden, which was, a thing. I abandoned the group about a quarter of the way through when Lithian started to have a mental breakdown about her hair.
Because what happened to her hair?
Yeah, poor Lithian. Yep. However, after that, and they got thrown into the land of shade, and she, hero style, pulled Snow out of the realm of shadow, because that's what she did. She held on to Snow and saved her life. Yeah, we got out of that area eventually with, air quotes, little to no harm.
Depends on who you ask.
Wait, what?
I said it depends on who you ask.
Exactly. That's why I said air quotes. Where both sides set up their own individual, again, air quotes, temple. The group of shadow people put their small pieces of shade back together to form one giant piece of shade. And Lasso made his temple. And we went inside there. Martel went and checked out the shadow place and then came home after a bit. And that's where we left off. Wrong?
Anybody have anything to add to that?
No. I mean, sort of just for the audience, because Kyle cut out for me, and I'm not sure they heard. But Lithian's hair fell out, is what happened to Lithian's hair. Otherwise, no, yeah, that's pretty well covered it.
Also, now that I know you guys can see the NPC names on the landing page, you have no excuse to ever get his name wrong. Lhasa made it.
Oh, Lhasa. Sorry.
He is not wrangling cattle.
I like to try to go from memory, and I apologize, but it... Lhasa.
He no longer wields a hammer, he now wields a rope. Only.
Only the rope of truth.
He will lasso everybody.
Really likes Halo.
Also, it's worth mentioning. I gushed about it a ton already, but since we're actually on stream and people can see this, Lithian had art commissioned for Kara had art commissioned for Lithian, and I turned it into a token, and it's wonderful.
It's gorgeous.
And everyone should just appreciate it for a moment. Just let it soak in. Just a moment of appreciation, just a long, silent moment of
My
appreciation.
plug is at Matt Morrow Art on Twitter if you want to check out his stuff.
Mm-hmm. Morrow, like tomorrow, without the O or the W?
With the W.
Oh, it's with the W. Oh. Just
Yeah.
cut out the 2. I found them already. All right. Just gonna murder that.
I tried to delete it. I couldn't.
Oh, yeah, that happens sometimes. Well then, I suppose without any further ado, Hazard, make sure to mark down your 3 points.
Thanks.
And we settle back in where everyone has, as they've gotten used to the second night, in the Temple of the Allmaker, made by the Hammer of Amaron's leader, Lhasa. The following day comes swiftly, in the comfort and leisure of a magically conjured temple in this otherwise terrible and frozen wasteland. And we've officially jumped into the next month. We are in the 1st of Athair. For those of you who actually care about the continuity of the timeline that I keep with the calendars.
Happy New Year.
No, that happened forever.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't mean to ruin your read-in, but there was supposed to be a strategy meeting last night, and also we need to roll
There
D100.
was. And
Yeah.
I somehow forgot to do that last time. Wow. Yeah, wow, I really didn't do that last time. You're right.
Well, it's because we're still gonna do the strategy meeting. I think is probably your reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're not gonna roll those yet. We're gonna do the strategy meeting first in case that influences people's thoughts or actions in regards to their D100s. So, shortly after Martel's return from the Shadow Camp, where she was given a tour of their magically created extra-dimensional space in which they stay, she and the handmaiden who was waiting for her outside returned to the Temple of the Allmaker, where inside a feast has been prepared, and the Goliaths have once more removed their armor and have spent a moderate amount of time caring for and polishing it, making sure everything that they use and carry is at the utmost efficiency. It is after people have had a chance to sort of settle and get comfortable, bellies full, bodies warm, that eventually Lhasa rings a bell that's on the first floor with the very high ceilings that echoes all the way up to the floors above, where he summons everyone down to one of the long tables on the first floor. And he is there waiting, dressed in his simple dark gray in a light blue garb. The rest of the Goliaths dressed similarly. Gamir still eating from a large silver platter covered in what looks like a half-roasted boar. He's just kind of sitting off to the side with like tucked under an arm like you might a football, quite literally a pigskin in this instance. When eventually everyone is gathered, I suppose maybe the better question is, does anyone not attend? For any reason?
Why would someone
Martel
not?
would be there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lithian, are you joining us?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Maybe she would go, be sad about her hair for a while.
No, she's got Grimir's helmet, doesn't she?
What? No?
No, she's putting she's put scarves around her head. and made it look prettier.
Yeah, Martel
Kind
would
of-
certainly help in that endeavor.
Mhm.
And I assume Lithian would share that she doesn't need Martel's hair as a wig.
Yes.
Because that was an offer that was made.
It was a very heartbreaking offer for Martel, but it was heartbreaking to see Lithian lose her hair.
Of which you have been politely warned that it will regrow just in time.
Yeah.
So, with everyone gathering, you're at the end of one of the long tables where you can see there are several books that are resting on the edges. There's a large unfurled map and a couple of other scrolls tucked out nearby. Loss is at the front. His staff hammer, his long-handled maul is resting at the end next to him. And he's currently standing over the edge in the classic, typical leadership, leaned onto the table, staring down at the battle map kind of position, waiting for everyone to arrive. But once it's done, he'll just lean back, rock his shoulders back and forth a bit, and then kind of look out onto everyone that's here. His eyes will stop onto Martel. So how was your visit to the other camp?
Oh, it was interesting. Their temple is filled with ancient things, supposedly forgotten things. They were cordial enough. They did willingly tell me that the little girl is probably our biggest worry, as she is a vessel for sorry, what was the god's name?
Pora.
Pora.
P-O-R-A.
She is a vessel for the power of Pora. Other than that, I have little that would be helpful.
Very well. Well, we've been gathered together here to discuss further what lies ahead of us now. We are reaching the end of our journey. We are roughly less than a day away from what my visions have told me. Between here and there is a great amount of danger that awaits us, along with numerous fields of uncontrollable wild magics. We likewise have this hovering tension, at least between the Hammer and the Shadeseekers group. What, if anything, do any of you have to say on this?
Well, I like you a hell of a lot better than I like them, that's for sure.
Well, what I have to say is it depends on your intentions by the time we get to where you are going. Because you have my vote, whatever it is, due to the fact that I personally think that we owe you a debt for saving, well, Lithian and Tijira. So if your plan is to, well, put it bluntly, slay the shades, I would support that. If your intention is to, at this point, put that behind you and move forward with whatever this is, I suppose I would have to support that, but I'm less preferential to it.
Gamir slaps you on the back, Hazard. It's a very large, heavy hand, and it kind of throws you off kilter briefly. But it's when you turn around and look at him with a little bit of like roasted boar stuck on his face because he doesn't have a beard anymore. stuck on his face, he kind of gives you just like this big smile, like he agrees with your original statement.
And reading into this, in which case, if you choose the first, I would suggest us going through, honestly, both the wild magics, hoping that we get hit less than them and dealing with them after we get out.
Where we're going, we don't have a choice in the matter. We will have to traverse both regions of the wild magic fields.
And that's what I'm saying. I personally, can I roll like an investigation or intelligence check for the fact that the more people there were, the less likelihood of it being a large person, or was that just because of the last field?
I mean, you're free to welcome something, or you are welcome to roll something, and I can try to give you some information. I'll take an Arcana or an Investigation.
Well, I'm gonna go with an investigation because that is my best suit. So 15 plus my. So 28.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, there were a lot of you there. There was no discernible pattern about it. And a significant amount of magic did start targeting large groups. So there could be something to magic being drawn to, bigger concentrations of individuals. Mm-hmm. But there's really nothing else that you could, remember or have observed that would tell you anything else that might be helpful in that situation.
Okay. Because if we have groupings, each of us in groups like we did last time, there's a likelihood that... Not a likelihood, let me be honest. It's a very bad odds, but they could be hit worse than us. We are the larger group of the two, unfortunately. It does seem to gravitate to groups. So going through both sections of wild magics with them could either be great or absolutely awful, obviously.
Well, we're not talking strategy in which to ambush our tentative allies yet. That comes when the consensus has been reached that you will stay with us should that time come, or you will allow us to fight our own battle. We, as the Hammer of Amaron, do not ask of you to partake in our grudge. You need not risk your own lives for a choice that we will make. But we do need to know where you will lie. And if you dare be so bold as to admit to being enemies now, to save us the trouble.
Martel will speak up and say,
We have to assume that they know you plan to betray them. And I appreciate your honesty and your forwardness, so I will give you the same courtesy. It is all well and good. You seem like great people with great intentions. But your goals are not my goals, and I have not yet decided which of the two sides best serve my goals. I cannot tell you for certain I am with you, but nor can I tell you for certain I am against you. I have much to think on, much to plan. But just know that they will be expecting a betrayal. Try to do it when they're the least prepared.
And the rest of you? Tajira, Snow?
I will be staying with Martel.
I am an independent. They've paid me to lead them somewhere and nothing more. This battle is not my battle, as much as these people are not my compatriots. They are a job, and nothing more. My life and contract were not signed up for anything other than leading them to the city. That is where I draw my line. If this comes down to picking sides, I will pick my own. Very well.
To be honest, here in this situation, I personally would be happy to fight with you, but I won't separate myself from the party.
That is something you need to take up amongst yourselves, as it seems you have one among you at the very least that has a chance of walking over to the other side at any potential point. But of course, and that being said, as long as that uncertainty remains a variable, we will have to ask you to leave. Our plans cannot be shared amongst those who could potentially relate that information to those who we may inevitably betray.
Oh. Does that include me?
If it comes between us and the people you've been traveling with, who will you pick, Asvard?
In this situation, I really hope that they choose right. But you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah, Martel stands up. She says,
For whatever it's worth, I promise I won't put a knife in your back, regardless of my choice. We will face each other head on.
It is much appreciated. That being said, before I dismiss you all, I will at the very least warn you of what lies before us. An ability I have not shared with you is I have visions. I have glimpses into the future, and occasionally I have the ability to alter them. However, the greater the distance, the more difficult that becomes. That being said, I've been using this ability to help us on our pilgrimage and to face more difficult trials and challenges that might be before us. In this particular instance, what lies ahead of us is the following. A horde of primordial constructs in the shell of one of the former fortresses used during the war to prevent any individuals from reaching the city. After that, we know that the confrontation with the Shadeseekers will come to a boiling point. And there will either be an altercation or a pause in the tension, and then shortly after, one side will betray the other. And then prior to the Forge, I've seen visions of a dragon. An immense one, like a sleeping mountain, that protects the Forge itself and where it is buried. It is believed that Voltaire, the master smith, befriended a dragon prior to the ruination. And that dragon has kept in hiding ever since to protect the legacy of his fallen friend. Do with this information as you will.
Martel curtsies.
Thank you.
Well, my friends, I suppose until later.
May you rest well.
Again, I really wish that you'd let me read one of your books. You say you want to spread the history, and, well, how better to do that?
We succeed here, we will share with you everything. But until such a time that we know that you are trusted allies, we cannot allow it.
Hasvard smiles brightly and says, well, you've one in this party that you should trust. And rolls a 28 in persuasion.
Lhasa gives you a knowing smile and a
And then heads out with Martel.
Fried chicken? I said I'd fight with him too. Like, jeez.
yeah. Nope. Hasvard's like, nope, screw Lithian. Screw her plight. Nope, it's only me. And there is that, remember that betrayal that I prophesied all that time ago from an NPC? There it is. It was Hasvard stabbing Lithian right in the heart.
Everyone else said that if the fight came down, they would fight against them. I'm not going to lift a sword against them.
I did not say that. I said I wouldn't separate myself from my party. I didn't say I would fight anybody.
That's pretty much what Tazira said too.
You said you were going with Martel, and Martel said she could potentially go to the other side, which at the very least means out of the 4 of you, 2 of you could be enemies.
Could.
That's how they're working through it.
I'm sorry.
Before Tajiro leaves, she'll bow.
Thank you for your hospitality. I hope this does not bring any bad feelings. I only wish to stay with my friend.
And she'll leave not expecting anything to be replied to.
Mm-hmm. Once all of you have gotten a hefty distance away and have started making your way up these spiral staircases to the other floors, you begin to hear the murmured conversations between the Goliaths pick up. Eventually, you'll all find yourselves up on the 2nd floor where the sleeping quarters are. Are you all going to kind of mosey away unto your own interests, or are you going to have a conversation amongst yourselves?
Tajiro wants to talk to Martel at least.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah.
Excuse me? What was that now?
So it sounds like it's a conversation,
wants
everybody.
To talk to Martel. Everybody wants to talk to Martel. Why
You don't
are
know
you
what
not
Martel can
siding
do.
with these guys? What's the matter with you, Martel?
That's definitely not why Tajiro wants to talk to you, but
yeah.
I imagine now. Okay, so now everyone's going to go bully Martel. Continue.
I am happy to stand by your side, but I am puzzled at these shadow people.
I'm more puzzled why you're saying it's a decision between the two. We literally
Saying that it is a decision?
Martel did.
I mean, I certainly understand that you don't trust either of them, but certainly there's one side you trust less, right?
Martel just shakes her head.
No, do
So
not trust either.
so
People can pretend to be your friend and stab you in the back. I made a very lucrative living of doing exactly that.
I agree. I will stand with you as far as you decide to go. I hope it does not come to fighting, though.
Me on the other hand, I don't know how I feel about this in the sense of you're talking about siding with an evil god's people to help them get a artifact that could possibly produce things such as dragons and whatnot. A religion literally based around making sure those kinds of things aren't used by other people and killing anyone that has any knowledge of them.
Many say my god is evil. Many
I
say
don't
yours
say-
is too. How many people have you heard whisper of the deceptions and backstabbing of Rattree?
Valid. I will not disagree with what you are portraying. I would just state that the group that has literally saved some of our group's lives should technically get a little bit more, what's the right word? Not gravitas, but something along those lines.
Consideration, perhaps, you mean?
Yeah.
And if by the end of this journey, the Shade Seeker and his group save our lives, what then?
Then I will begin trusting them a little bit more. But until that moment where they give me reason to trust them, I don't know if I can yet, Martel.
So what you're saying is that there's a possibility you would side with them.
No.
Just as I said, there's a possibility I would side with them.
No, if it's a choice, there is no possibility that I would side with them.
But what if they save your life? What if they do it twice, as
That's
opposed to the hammers once?
fine and well. I'm letting my personal feelings get in the way, but I don't care.
Hmm. You are a little prejudiced, it sounds.
A little what?
Prejudice.
You mean against someone that is the evil epitome of my god? Let me think. Maybe.
I mean, we
As
all
long
have.
as you recognize it, it cannot control you. I am simply saying that the possibility of these people saving our lives is still there.
Yes, which is literally why we're trying to bring them with us, because we're going to use them as bait to save our own lives.
Hmm.
Is that not what we've been doing?
I've been doing it with both of them.
I hate that I don't doubt that, Martel.
We all have prejudices. We all are driven by our emotions to a degree. Have Martell not had the past that she had, she might be on a different side of this. That's just how this works.
So,
I can see myself fighting with the Goliaths. I cannot see myself fighting against them, but I can see refraining from the fight entirely.
Saving someone does not necessarily mean they are on your side.
yes.
I don't care that they saved me or not. I mean, that's helpful, but they feel more trustworthy to me than the other side here at the moment.
This
And
is
again, I'm
as well.
going by the illogical feelings and emotions that I have, and I understand that. But they're there for a reason, aren't they?
Yes. And let's talk about the logical then. So,
I think we have discussed this.
Jirai started. I want to finish.
Very
The logical. We are talking about choosing between a group that has the ability to craft masterworks with a smithing table that can create masterworks versus a group of, well, again, evil, shade people. Yeah, seems. I don't even know what they offer us. What do they offer you, Martel?
Tel just smiles.
Nothing. What has the hammer offered me? Nothing. Why, they are not why we are here. Their forge is not why we are here.
No, we are here for a card to be able to craft something that we need a smithing spot for. A forage.
Yes, and we already have the smith who will do it.
Yes, but we need the forage.
He has a forge.
Does he also have a forage? All right, well then I'll shut up. But, why not have two?
Why not indeed? And if the hammer of Amaron fails, and they all die, and Pora and her people take the forge, then we don't have to.
Yes, which is why we should put our toe in the ring and make sure that they don't die? Question mark?
I mean, at this point, this is what I'm saying. It's up to the personal opinion and the feelings, and I like these people. That's why I would fight for them.
Right?
That's all I'm saying.
And I'm saying that their mission is not ours.
And I agree. We have our own interests. Throw them not in with the others.
I'm saying I have not yet decided which of them I favor, if I favor either. I am saying that there could be alliances where there were none before. There could be a change in things. There could be a lot of things. I offered the Goliaths the courtesy of telling them the truth, that I have not yet decided.
That is valid.
At this point, both of them could merely be a means to an end. Unfortunately, we have our own quest to do.
Yes, but helping others can help us in the future.
It may be good, but do not commit to some things you cannot fulfill. We must keep our own interests as much as possible.
I don't know about you, but I definitely have committed to a lot of things that I have not fulfilled in my life.
Very well.
Well, I don't know. I think it's in our best interest, but I suppose that is a personal perception.
Like I said, I would be willing to fight with them. I am willing to refrain from fighting, but I will stand with what we as a group decide to do, but I won't fight against. I will refrain, but I won't stop.
My problem is if I see them start losing and dying, I'm gonna want to step in because I don't know if I can watch them die after this. After being with them for this, I know, small amount of time.
It's been a small amount of time. We've known them for exactly 1 day.
Really attached quickly, I'm sorry. Feels like a lot longer.
Yes, we should probably try to prevent conflict as much as possible. That is our best interest, I believe.
Well, Asvard, I will do you the same courtesy as I gave the Goliaths. If I believe the Shadow Seeker and his group serve our interests better, I will side with them. And I hope that I do not have to face you in battle.
And unfortunately, I have to give you the same courtesy.
She nods.
Tijida's just shaking her head.
Yes, I am done with these for tonight.
And she's gonna walk to wherever she's been sleeping and retire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's gonna start reading, but she'll lead the conversation.
Everyone else? Also, don't feel like you have to stop there. You can also continue talking, between whoever's left. This is juicy.
I don't know if there's anything left to say. Does Martell have anything else to say?
No. If you're done, you're done.
Well, like we both said our piece. There's obviously neither of us are changing our minds. So yeah.
Smash cut to everyone in bed.
Or doing stuff. You know.
Or yeah, or you know, sitting cross-legged sewing clothes. Or
Not together.
pacing.
Reading, pacing. You know.
Cut everybody in the same bed.
The camera.
I mean, I have some stuff with just Martel and the Handmaiden, if people are okay with that.
Of course.
Who, for
Then
the record,
Martel and the Handmaiden go to the gazebo. Sorry, go ahead for the record.
No, like I said, she was sitting about 60 feet away the whole time you guys were having this conversation. She was sitting on the ends of one of the beds, politely waiting for it to finish. And then she will take it.
Okay. Then while we sit in the gazebo, Martel
Yes.
look at the Handmaiden and say,
I do want to quickly reset and remind everybody
oh, sorry, yeah.
that at the end of the last session, because I kind of shoehorned it in there, was after everyone had said their piece and the meeting was had, the Handmaiden would take Martel outside and perform a spell that creates a magical doorway of white wood and gilded in gold that opens up into a lush green oasis with a white wood gazebo resting off to the side. It's filled with beautiful, full fruit trees, a small stream that kind of burbles into a moderate-sized lake, tall grasses all around, and stepping stones that lead up to the gazebo. There's very beautiful bird song. It is warm, but not too humid. Kind of imagine like a perfect spring day, like 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and sun out. And now, Martel, continue in the gazebo.
Okay. Yeah, in the gazebo. Martel will look at the Handmaiden and say,
How long have you served, Tarek?
At the question, she will stop and seize the edges of her hood and lower them for the first time. And you will see underneath, she will have long golden hair, very similar to yours, Martel. But prominently, she will have pointed ears. And thoughtfully, she will consider, and then after a moment, answer your question. By this point, it's coming close onto 4 centuries.
Martel nods.
Then you may be able to answer my questions. I have
I will-
only served a short time.
I will answer any questions you have to the best of my abilities, Princess.
Do we have any kind of animosity with Pora?
A reasonable question. Pora is a hoarder of secrets, obsessed to the point of destruction. The mindedness of if no one else can, if she can't have it, no one else may. Typically, very few ever get along with Pora. Tarek is among them, if only because it is difficult to find a comfortable place in which to maintain a relationship with such an entity. However, as has been explained to you, Pora and her followers are a wealth of lost and hidden information, even to the title bearers, since they have gone out of their way to remove pieces of history and scour any of the information from the face of the planet, making even some things that title bearers did not experience themselves inaccessible.
Would you have any objections if I tried to forge an alliance with such a person?
Only if there is a conceivable end or a particular goal you have in mind. Something that is open-ended is dangerous. They will continue to pull more from you at every chance they get. However, the alliance would be very beneficial in the short term, given they have an amount of resources that, while unknown to us, would certainly be most valuable.
Martel nods.
Yes. Well, I believe there is a specific bit of information they might have. But
She just kind of, well, Martel doesn't sigh. She just kind of pauses for a minute.
But you're right, it is dangerous. Have you ever had this happen? You ever had to think about people you love turning on you? People you care about choosing to side against you?
When I was younger, yes. It was a frequent concern. This often happens, especially to those that have found themselves resolute in a particular path. Inevitably, there's going to be conflict, and individuals will have to pick sides. The world is not built in such a way that we are all allowed to be on the same side, especially when these individuals are involved in things that could potentially alter the landscape of the world.
How do you deal with it?
The handmaiden gives a very obvious, sad smile. You see me traveling with anyone else now?
Martel just kind of slowly nods.
Yes, I feared as much.
I chose my path a long time ago, and my friends and loved ones could not follow. But I considered my position more significant, the goals that we have more important. And so this is where I am, and they are where they chose to be.
Well, what of the hammer? The hammer of
Amaron?
Mm-hmm.
the hammer of Amaron. Do you have much knowledge of this group? Or our interactions with them?
Not with the hammer in particular, no. But I have heard tales of the religion and those that follow the entity they call the Allmaker, which, by all accounts, is a dead god. One that doesn't exist any further, but is a legacy. The Allmaker is the individual who they also refer to as Valtir, the one whose forge they seek. I also know quite a bit about the history of giants and many of the theories that scholars have spoken on that they have also said to be true, in that giants were made out to be vicious barbarians and slaves that were used during the Great Creation War to help aid the primordials stomp out mortals. And that they were in fact a more advanced civilization. That the primordials unearthed and destroyed everything they had built in order to force them into the war effort. So I can understand their desire to go uncover their lost history to correct some of what has been cited as incorrect. Their pilgrimage, as they refer to it, is at least a noble one. And as with individuals that are religious worshippers, they are at least honor bound to their own oaths and their rules set out by the Allmaker. Which means, as we have observed, they will most likely never betray us in a way that we will not see coming. They are far too honor bound for that.
In this forge, do you think it would be useful? Undoubtedly, if Pura gets it. If Pura gets it.
Pura. Sorry, Legend of Zelda creeping in there.
If Pura gets it.
Hmm.
He won't have access to it. Is the forge worth it?
If it is as powerful as they claim it to be, it would be invaluable. As much as I am aware, the smith, Birk, is, in most of their reincarnations, a bit of a recluse. Creation of the magnitude that Birk is capable of since the wars has never taken place since. If Valtyr's forge is in fact capable or comparable, it would be invaluable. As to the ends of how we would use it, or rather our Lord might see fit to use it, that I am uncertain. But it would be invaluable, yes.
Thank you for your wisdom.
Of course. That is what a handmaiden is for.
Oh, I have much to think about.
You may seek me out if you have any further questions. And of course, enjoy your stay here. There are boundaries, be forewarned. I do not have magics capable of a god.
Martel just smiles.
I appreciate the nostalgia. This was where he first met me, you know.
Me as well. As I suspect he does many of those that inevitably choose to follow him. Inspired by his home, you know.
I was not aware.
At least that was the tale he spun for me when he explained it to me once a couple 100 years ago. And it is the closest thing I have to home now.
Yeah, Martel will just kind of leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if other people have business.
Any other business? Anybody?
Not that really entertains anyone else, unfortunately.
Lysian would definitely sending Dane to let him know about her hair. He's gonna regret giving me the stone.
Clearly. Basically just like, the response is, sister, I can make a tonic for it if it doesn't grow back on its own time. Magic that does that usually wears off and it regrows just as quickly as you lost it. And then he sendings you, Lithian.
Mhm.
And since the stone isn't being used for important information, is there anything worthwhile to report on your journey thus far?
Actually, yes. But much more than I can say in 25 words. It has to do with Flora, a couple of gods. I'll explain.
I think
I
that's
didn't. I think.
yeah. I think somewhere I might have overcounted, but I hit 26. But
I got the important words out. That's
yeah,
fine.
you did. You did.
Ben, would Martel come back in? Or are you guys staying there the entire time?
I mean, it was her understanding that everybody was more or less done talking to her, so.
Yeah, no, if you stay in there the entire night, there's no way I can talk to you. So yes.
Given the door is invisible.
Knock on the door. Oh, that's right, it's invisible. Yeah, no, that's the end of that. Although, again, you and I both are up before others, so I think that'd be us for the night, but...
Yeah, so in the morning I would probably approach you, but that's after we roll.
Okay.
Yeah, in case there's shenanigans to deal with.
Exactly. We have to do it in order.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get better at not
If there is nothing else, we will end the night with the camera kind of panning through one of the hallways in the temple of Gamir in his pajamas, carrying a large teddy bear in one arm and sipping a mug of hot cocoa as he goes to bed. And then I will take D100 rolls from all of you.
First, let me return all of my hit points. Yay, finally.
Like, can I like spend all of my inspiration so that I can re-roll it?
Nope.
Oh no, what did you
I
get?
am never setting a precedent for re-rolling D100s again. I regret it the first time I did it, and I've made a hard rule about it.
I got an 8.
Nice. 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 You know, the great news is I don't even need to summon an evil person to ruin your day. You guys have one next door.
Like, he can't write this stuff, guys. I'm sorry.
Are you sure you can't? I mean, this is how we start the rumors that everything is scripted, and we rehearse this before the game.
Yeah, with the way I jamble, that's not true. I'm just sad. Why? Why must you do this to me? You go away. There needs to be jail.
And dice.
Well, as much as Hasvard dice hate Hasvard, Martel dice love Martel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 91.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. 66.
I'm gonna go get comfort from Sarah for a second. I'll be right back.
Bravo.
And Tajira?
But what if I don't get another 100?
That's not my problem. Well, it might be.
Get 200s in a row, that'd be amazing.
I got a 97.
Oh,
Ooh.
hell yeah, almost 200s in a row.
I was trying to reverse jinx it, didn't quite work.
Yeah, because you want a 1, right? That's how you give yourself 2 dragon problems.
I know.
Well, I was going to say let's go down the list and deal with them as they come. But Hasvard's doesn't manifest itself in any particular way or issue. So we're just going to let Kyle be comforted by his girlfriend. And
You said it though.
and we'll just go to Martel. Martel, was there anything of particular desire or want?
You're receiving it shortly.
Okay. In which case, while I'm waiting on that, we're just going to go to Tajira. Anything of particular desire, want, or thought that was on your brain?
She was trying to figure out how to keep the two groups from fighting. Or rather, she's just focused on like diplomatics and like trying to convince people not to fight and things like that.
Okay.
That's totally what she'd be doing, going to sleep.
So I do this with one of my other players who is as normal a boy as you can be in Dungeons and Dragons, and is a plain Jane human with no particular religious affiliations or magic whatsoever. And he tends to use D100 rolls like he has Sherlock moments. This is not going to be quite the same, but this is going to be at least this is going to be like a clairvoyance roll. Like we're just going to give you some deeper thought processes and some information, and how what you do with it is up to you. So Tajira can easily observe the fact that these two factions are very much opposed. Other than the fact that, you know, Pora is generally a ill-viewed entity of the Zarana, the pantheon that exists in the Murk. It is worsened by the fact that the Hammer has told you that they are responsible for killing one of their 6 members. One of the only members they've lost. And so there's a grudge that they carry with them that they seem to be honor-bound to want to rectify at some point, as Lhasa has already warned. There will come a time that he said that, you know, they will pick a fight with them. So you think it's very difficult, Tajira imagines, to ever really broker peace between the two. The only way you can stall it for as long as possible is to make sure that they both see and understand the value of them continuing an alliance that will keep everyone alive and safe up until at least the final point. So you might be able to push the inevitable conflict further down the line than Lasa's vision has foretold. Which, for the record, because, you know, we have a map, I will just sort of instruct you based off of what he saw. So his visions tell him, if you're paying attention, this is where there's going to be a boiling point that's going to be reached between the two sides. And it might be forestalled until such a time that here is when one side is going to inevitably betray the other. You might be able to push that off to get to here, which is allegedly where a dragon awaits you, by convincing both sides that they need one another further. How you do that is up to you.
Okay.
Martel? Am I getting a small novel?
No, I'm just a slow typer.
Okay. I have to think through my vast knowledge of lore that I've shared between you and myself, Martel, to make sure I have all of my bullet points correct.
That's fine. I'm always sorry. I do this with my D100 rolls. It'd be easier if I just wanted something rather than information.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, but no, I'm just trying to make sure part of my information is correct, because some part of that I went Hang on a second. What? So I have to try to make sure that either I've forgotten something or one of us has wires crossed. And I feel like I know what you're talking about, but it still doesn't seem 100% correct. You know what? I remember. Hmm. I gotta get into big brain of a god for a second. There's a choice to be made. What is the right answer?
Well, wait. Let's plug D&D Beyond. No, I'm just kidding.
Quick, someone get the hair trimmers.
I wouldn't
What?
dare presume to be Sam Riegel.
Yeah, it was actually one of Sam's bits on Critical Role several weeks ago. He actually had a bit where they would pick different numbers corresponding to different parts of his facial hair and his head and his hair on his head, and he literally buzzed it off on stream.
Wow.
And it did honestly.
Yeah.
It didn't turn out terribly. It really did, and like for a bit, it was hilarious, and it worked out for him.
It only didn't turn out terribly because his friends are nice.
Yes, that's fair.
And they know Quinn would have killed them. Well, I don't know how she puts up with Sam's antics, but
Patience. Lots and lots of patience.
All right.
And I'll be honest, if I could smile and laugh as much as Sam makes me for 5 to 10 minutes every week, all of the time, I feel like it would be a pretty good life, right? Like, could you really complain about laughing and smiling all the time? I guess maybe it's only bearable because it's in 5 to 10 minute increments. I suppose.
I'm certainly complaining about having to do laundry of Matt Mercer's face on t-shirts.
You know, or him shooting lightning from his crotch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That should just be a whole fashion line. Anyway, I guess everyone's dealt with, and we're gonna go to the following morning. Oh, don't worry, you've been dealt with. I have a note written down for you, boy.
I'm scared.
You should be.
I know.
It's even worse because it's gonna be like one of those. It's like when I randomly ask you to roll a dice for something and then you do something and then you don't know what the outcome is. It's that. That's what happened. You roll the thing. There's gonna be no obvious consequence right away, but there's something in the universe that you've just put out. So don't worry.
That's okay. Can you just have it affect me instead?
Nope. Don't worry. It affects you.
No, I know, and that's why I don't like it. Stop attacking my family.
Stop rolling poorly.
It's literally not a choice.
I know it's not. The dice gods have decided it for you. Asvard is apparently meant to go through and live a very difficult period in his life for him to be able to grow.
Some of us are made to suffer.
I mean, that's what you get for modeling yourself after Batman.
You were gonna model his parent figure after Batman, if I remember correct.
Well, I mean, also there literally is a Batman in myself. You can thank Cards Against Humanity for that.
Uh-huh.
and not just a man bad.
That was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun things came out of that.
Oh, you were part of that, were you?
Yes,
I
she
was.
was.
It was when they were in Seattle. And I got invited as a guest.
Yep. And we sat around and played Cards Against Humanity with my other 3 players, and as their characters, so they barely understood any of the cards, but there were roles to understand them, and it was very funny. And then at the end of it, you got to pick a card from your win pile to keep, and whatever card it was, you gained a random bonus, like a stat bonus, or a feat. And then depending upon how well you did, if you were either first or last, you were either the goody two shoes, or the worst person in the room, and there was also a bonus feat for that. Yeah, real fun, honestly. I was surprised at how well it worked out. Oh, there's a stray wiener dog running into our yard. Fitz, what are you doing, man? Don't stand in the street. Sorry. Fitz is a little puppy that lives across the street from us. He's like literally this big.
Aw.
He's a little dachshund. He's super duper cute and very nice. But him and his owner just got home, and he just immediately scurried across the street. Okay, there we go. I feel safe. Or I feel safe. I feel safe for Fitz. He wasn't threatening me. He told me to. Everyone will work through their 8 hours in their own amazing fashions, whatever those are for them. And the morning will come for those of you staying in the temple. You will be greeted by the smells of cooking, an enormous breakfast that you've just sort of come to expect from the Goliath cook Gamir, of just enormous sausages, several different kinds of eggs, biscuits and bread that are freshly made, smoked whole sides of boar, and just several things that are deep fried in various kinds of animal fat. And it's just it's a very hearty, wholesome experience. Very down home cooking kind of style.
So Tajira wants to see if she can get an opportunity to pull Martel aside in private.
We'll get to that in a second. Because we have to figure out where or how or what Martel is doing when she wakes up in the morning, because she was not in the temple.
That's true.
So what does Martel's morning consist of?
That's a good question. After, the time she needs in the gazebo area. I did also, because I just remembered, Martel wants to spend some time with I have it written down here. Globe of Ever Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing if it needs to be attuned or seeing what it can do, just kind of learning about the Globe of Ever Ice.
All right.
She's in a warm, safe place.
Easy. When you spend an hour with it, you gain an idea of some of its properties, of which it does require attunement.
Okay.
It is it's what it sounds like. It is a magical sphere of ice. While attuned to it, you can think an object or a shape, and it will instantly reform itself to take it. This can be done to take on the shape of weapons and armor. And when it does so, they have a +2 bonus to attacks, damage rolls, or AC. It can also act as a spellcasting focus. And once per day can cast a 5th level armor of Agathis.
Very cool. Oh, whoops. Didn't mean it. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Martel will put it back in Lithian's bag because she would have had to go into the temple, take it out of the bag, and go back.
Excuse me.
Are you doing this while she's asleep?
Unless you're awake when I come in,
Yeah, probably not.
then yes, while you're asleep.
It's not weird. Don't worry.
Okay, she won't wake up and she doesn't care, so.
Yeah, it's like,
As you get to the front door, Hasbard's like, Martel, came in really late. Are you okay out there?
yeah, Martel's.
Oh, hello, Hesford.
You both were been out in the cold for a very long time. Did you go back to the Shadows Temple?
Oh, no. The Handmaiden set up a place for us to be safe and separate from both while we worked out our thoughts on the matter.
Good to
Here,
know.
come, walk with me for a minute. This thing is quite cold, and I'm going to put it in that place while we talk.
Okay, let's go. I just wanted to apologize for the bruntness of earlier. As we're walking to the door, it's very hard right now. Wait until we get through the door to actually say anything pertinent.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how this goes down, I will never attack you. It's the fact that these people have seemed so good and treated us so well without any need. It's the fact that the charitableness. It's not even that they were willing to save us. It's they fed us. They kept us warm. They treated us like friends. And yes, you're right. I can't say that these people on the other side have not treated you and us like that, but I don't know the Giants' history. I only know how they've treated us so far, and that is my experience. However, the history I know of the other group, well, it's less than forthcoming. And again, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry, and that I do really appreciate your friendship, and I don't want this to come between us.
Martel puts down the ice core, or I guess chucks it through the door.
No, we're through the door. I said I wasn't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Until
Then,
we're.
yeah, she'll, if she can let you in.
Oh.
Into the oasis.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it is obvious your intention is to allow him in, the handmaiden just needs to think it, and he can enter.
Okay. Then yeah, she'll let Hasbard in so that he can have this discussion in the private that he wanted.
Yeah. Thank you.
Or at least relative private, as the handmaiden is undoubtedly skulking somewhere.
Always just about 60 feet away from Martel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Martel give Hasvard a hug and say,
I was not trying to make a decision. I was merely trying to illustrate my indecision. There are benefits to both groups. There are reasons to ally with them. I know that you have not had the experiences I've had, but I do just want what's best for all of us, and what is best for this world. And I will do anything, even forge alliances with terrible, evil people, if it keeps all of us safe and furthers our goals.
Hasvard hugs you back. And I would do anything to keep you all safe and to better the world. And I think to do that, we do need to hold on to a form of morality that we should try to uphold. And if we can, if there's a path that both takes us where we want to go and at the same time we can do good, that is the path that should be thought of, Martel.
Yeah, Martel just looks at you and says,
There is much more as people could know, including the location of your daughter. I would never pass up any opportunity to save her. And even if you had, or it comes to a point where you feel you do need to fight against me, if I prevailed, I would still save your daughter.
Thank you.
I of course hope it doesn't come to that.
and Martel stands up.
I just wish for you to understand my hesitation to trust either side or throw my lot in with either side.
But I will state that there is something to be said of putting a foot in the door early at times. Because it can shut on you. We don't know that if we don't side with them, we will lose out on an opportunity. I'm not saying that that's the situation, obviously. It's just for future. Sometimes to get the jump on it is also a good thing. I do like the cautiousness of making sure that you always have your doors open.
Martel just smiles and says,
That is why I have a foot firmly placed in both doors.
Yes, but not everyone can do that, Martel. We're not as flexible.
she'll just kind of usher you back towards the temple.
Yes, I'm going. Thank you. Oh, what are you doing with the ice?
Oh, I wish to study it and find out what it does.
Would you like help? Just kidding. You already got your information. Bye.
Even at the question, Martel would just kind of smile at you and say,
No, I think I would like to study it myself.
Hasbard leaves. Go back to the temple. Back to Dagger on Wood because there's craftsmen here and it's fun.
Tajira?
Next, please. Number 32. Now serving number 32.
This would probably be after she studies the ice, as I think Tajira has to actually sleep.
Yep.
Yes.
It's
Like a
later
normal
when
person.
everybody's together having breakfast.
Yeah, actually in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, now that I have a character that is a cat that would sleep a lot, I don't sleep a lot. Anyways, if you want to just skip to her pulling Martel aside then.
Yeah.
Or Martel, yeah.
I mean, Martel would be sitting there waiting for people to wake up, and if Tajira was like, "Can I talk to you?" she'd go off with you.
Okay. I think I may have an idea that would keep both groups occupied until at least we reach the forge.
I am open to suggestions.
What if there was another group that we knew was holding the forge? And that would be an opponent that both groups would need to get together to defeat.
Well, that would certainly buy us some time.
Yes. I think if we could convince them that one of us knew about this group or found out about it in a manner, that they would be able to stay together for enough time to make it to the forge at the very least.
Is there such a group? Did you learn something?
Her eye kind of twinkles. I am very good with stories.
Then Martel smiles at you and says,
Then can I leave it with you?
Yes, I simply. I do not think that I would have the contacts, or rather, I would not have the reputation to have contacts that would know this. So I would need to figure out where and how I found this. I was hoping you could help with that part.
Martel thinks and says,
You told us when you first met us that you hear whispers, voices from the murk.
Yes.
I know that wouldn't do much with the Hammer of Amaron, but Pora is of the murk, and information there would be something she could trust. Or at least think about.
Then perhaps would it make sense for you to bring this to them and tell them that I had this dream, or rather heard these voices? My credibility is not as good with them as here.
Well, I don't think any of us have much credibility, but yes, I can certainly speak with them.
I will be more public with the people here in this temple and let them know.
I would suggest not angling it as voices from the murk when you speak with the Hammer of Amaron. I think that would drive them away.
Very well. But amongst our group, I will say it is from the Merc. They will trust me with that. I am not too sure if they will, rather, if they would keep up the lie as well as we could.
Well, to be honest,
it just kind of frowns. Says,
many of our group have proven to talk when they should not. Might be easier if you just don't tell them anything.
Then where would I have got this information from? Where should I tell them it came from if I cannot say the Merc?
and Tell thinks. Says,
Well, you would need to think of a source that the Goliaths would trust.
I will think, but I will not take long. This should be something that they fear for a while, so they can think and plan to work together. Thank you.
nods.
Well, if nothing else, the Hammer of Amaron does have the visions of a dragon, I don't think any of us wish to face that alone.
I agree. But it is also a key area to be able to ambush the others in the moment of weakness.
Martel just nods.
I will go speak with the Shadow Seeker and his cultists.
And
Shade Seeker. Sorry, I do that every time.
Shade Seeker.
Oh, music started. Yeah, and she'll nod and go off to breakfast.
Okay. In which case, with Martel finally being finished with the lineup, unless Lithian wants to stop and talk to Martel.
No,
My
she's
hair.
still lamenting from here. Yeah.
Hasn't come back yet. All right. In which case, we are going to take our first break right around there, and we're going to come back in about 10 minutes or so. So like around 15-ish mark. And once we do, we will talk about what you guys are going to do in the day today, and see what you guys come up against, because I have something planned.
Are we going up against a horde in a castle?
Oh no,
Oh,
it's
no.
it's like I told you.
For a while yet.
How about the fact that there's a real life dragon? Maybe.
Yeah.
We gotta in though.
Anyway, 2-minute break. We'll be back around 9:15 for me, adjusted for anyone else's particular time frame. See you in a few. I'm gonna go to bed.
But like, why are we thinking the dragon's bad? He was friends with their ancestors. Like, you're the one like that should be thinking politics. Can't dragons talk? Aren't they intelligent?
Yeah, sure they are. But in CJ's setting, they were forged by either primordials or the title bearers. And the ones forged by the primordials were forged to destroy all of humanity. If the giants were being used by primordials, that dragon was forged to destroy all of humanity.
But it was friends with yeah. Yeah. But like, we can try, right?
We could
We can
certainly try.
try. Jinxies.
Oh boy. I'm so sad. Why'd I have to roll under a 10 again? Like,
I mean, again, the truth is CJ's pretty fair, and like under a 10 isn't devastating. When you get below a 5, it starts to be really bad.
well,
It does suck.
I'm gonna start saying I think of nothing through my 8 hours of rest. Yeah, I don't read any books on any topics. I don't. I just hope it's not the sun.
The problem is that, for me at least, Martel is always in contact with her god.
Yeah,
So I can't say that in good conscience.
I'm never gonna say it either, because I every single night I report back to Ratchery, and that's
There you go.
a nightly thing. So it just sucks.
Yep.
That's why you just don't have a god.
There you go. I'll be honest, Martel started without a god. I would argue she still doesn't really have one. Tyrik's not her god in the traditional ideas of a god.
No, he's not.
Or her sugar daddy? Question.
Yeah, that's a pretty adequate description. Complicated.
Like, I totally think he thinks of himself as your father figure, but I'm not sure.
I don't know about father figure.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't say father figure at all.
Oh.
I also am starting to doubt you know what sugar daddy means.
I know what
I thought they were root beers.
Are they? Is that a candy of some kind?
No,
Yeah.
it's dad
Kind
root
of.
beer.
kind of nails. They really sharp.
That was a friend of mine. She has a brother that's way younger than her. So like when she was 20, he was about 5. And she also has a bunch of older brothers, so you know, accidents happen. Anyway, but all of her older brothers married a woman that was older than them, and it decreased by a year each time. And so that when she was like, when I get married, I'll marry somebody the same age as me. And then she looked at her little brother and was like, oh, that means you'll be the only one without a sugar mama. And he put his hands on his hips and said, then I will be the sugar daddy and we will have the sugar babies.
Oh,
I was like, hell yeah. That kid's living the dream.
I had no idea that was an actual candy.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't either.
Yeah, it's just a large, like, chewy caramel. That's it. That's really good, though.
I like large, and I like caramel. Oh, I have seen sugar daddies. The candy. I mean, I've also seen sugar daddies, but put off making a snack too long. Just have a Danish.
My dinner turned out horribly, so I just ate a bunch of goldfish.
You monster.
Goldfish are
Not-
amazing.
Acknowledge. Thank you. Yes, they are.
They're the snack that smiles back until you bite their heads off.
Jeez. I bet you put them on pizza too.
Haven't ever tried that, but I'd be willing to try it.
What did I have for supper?
But seriously, the pizza ones are really good.
Oh, the
I
pizza
like
flavor?
most of
Yeah.
their flavors.
I like the regular, original, plain old goldfish. Only in the bag, though. If they're in the box, they taste like box, and I don't like them.
Sorry,
They're
what
not-
tastes like a box?
The
Goldfish.
goldfish that are in like the box, like the big carton, they taste like the box, so I won't eat them. But the ones in the bag, great, excellent, love them.
Ah, yeah, I'd agree with that.
It pissed my mom off when I was a kid.
Well, I'm trying to think. I don't think we have that here. Because the only boxes of goldfish I know of are like the really big ones, and they have bags inside them.
There's like this big carton kind of one that we have,
Yeah,
and
they're-
it's just goldfish in the box, and
Mhm.
it tastes like cardboard. Like it tastes like the box.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of a
I
trap.
love goldfish. Yeah, like I love goldfish a lot, and so that was like
Mhm.
always something we had at home when I was a kid. But my mom would get the big ones, and I wouldn't eat them, and she'd be so mad. She's like, "This saves me money." I'm like, "I don't care. It doesn't taste good."
I might as well just eat the carton they're in.
It's like the debate between like fountain soda and canned.
Except I disagree because that has a logical reason why one tastes different over the other.
Well, so
Yeah.
does this. They're different formats. They have different packing standards, so of course they're gonna taste different.
But the goldfish
I think
are still
the
the same
better
cracker.
the better
So it's like,
comparison would be plastic bottle versus can.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's like bottle versus can. I can understand. I didn't realize there was any debate on fountain versus can. Of course, fountain's better.
I didn't realize there was either.
No,
Because
can
they're
is
basically
better.
Can
Glass
is better than it was, but it's not better than fountain.
Or even glass.
In a lot of cases. So sorry, I've been watching these reviews for a while, which is why I was into this debate where people have gone to actually like 3 different fountain locations and first them a can with a blind test, and the can wins almost every time.
Well, I guess the people they blind tested don't like sweeter things.
I mean, that's generally what it comes down to. But also, where were they blind testing the fountain sodas from?
So to be fair, they did McDonald's and then like 3 different McDonald's, 3 different Burger Kings, 3 different. I don't know what the last one was.
Well, so surely, Tim, as someone who has likewise worked in a like a fast food joint at one point in your lifetime, should know that the taste from the soda fountain varies based off of the care and maintenance done to the soda fountain.
Yep. And
So-
ice. And ice.
Yeah. Especially. And as someone who has previously worked at a location, which I will not name, when I cleaned out parts of its things when I first started working there, because no one else did, I found stuff in that machine that from that day forward, I never once ever again got a free soda from work that wasn't already canned or bottled.
Yep. Same.
Despite the fact that it always would taste better to me. But I knew. And that's also generally why I know a lot of places when something tastes slightly off to me, I just don't, I get water at that point. Because people do not care for or maintain their soda fountain machines well, ever.
Well, I can't drink from soda fountains anymore. Cool.
Yeah, don't recommend it.
And
Also,
Burger
don't ever
King.
eat at a buffet.
Oh, that's right, Burger King. Come at me. Anyway, sorry.
Don't get ice from a hotel ever.
Yep.
So
Just,
we had, for the longest time, maggots in our ice machine.
Awesome. So,
And
guys, we're back to
nobody-
D&D.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're already well over time anyway, and I really don't want to hear the end of that story. Because I already know the horrors of poor maintenance at restaurants enough.
See, nobody knew for like 6 months at least.
Extra protein.
Okay.
So, you guys are now enjoying a lovely, very full, mostly greasy breakfast. Isn't that wonderful after this conversation? But you are all welcomed the following morning to partake in the feast that Gamir prepares. And then you are, as per usual, witnessed to the morning rituals and preparations of the Hammer of Amaron. As they redon their armor, gather and check their weapons, and sort of sort through their equipment for the day. Of which they have prepared several more things, a lot of which you can clearly tell are magical in nature, that they've packed away in one of their various extra-dimensional bags that Gamir is responsible for carrying. Just kind of, they look like they're covering their bases for what is an uncertain future that is rife with conflict.
So, can I say that I come into this, that everybody's sitting there, or?
Well, everyone was sitting there for breakfast.
Yeah.
In terms of after breakfast and preparations, I mean, the Hammer has a routine. They take one of the long tables and they take their armor down off the walls and they check it over again and then they start putting it on. It's roughly about a 20-minute process for the whole thing. Again, it's very ritualistic.
What she was hoping was that everyone sitting down for breakfast is what she wants to walk in on.
Doable.
Okay, so she'll step out for a quick second where no one can see her, and she's going to cast glibness on herself. Why didn't it? There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm assuming you do the casting not in front of everybody.
That's what I thought that I said
Okay.
that
So I was double checking.
Yeah. No, I'd walk out specifically out of range of hearing and sight of people. And then come in with the spell already cast.
And
And
the jury, you're looking awfully glib this morning.
did you seriously just do that to me?
Damn right while I was drinking, CJ. Oh, man.
And right when I was trying to say that she's looking disheveled, she's trying to look like...
Oh,
gosh.
I regret nothing.
It was beautiful. Yeah, so she'll come in, she like looks a little nervous and disheveled.
Mm-hmm.
She'll sit down at the table and she'll like turn to her friends who are sitting nearby. There is another group waiting for us at the forge.
Excuse me, what?
There is a huge group waiting for us at the forge. Over 20 people who have vastly different in fighting capabilities.
Over 20 people. Why didn't you tell us this last... I'm so confused. What's happening right now?
I just found out about it last night.
And she'll like try to like give them a slight indication, like, you know what I'm talking
nudge,
about?
nudge.
Yeah.
That requires you to actually try to like indicate that, since they literally cannot tell that you're not lying to them.
Yeah, so it's an over exaggeration. So she'll like just give him a she'll give him a look. She'll give him a deliberate look. Sorry, I'm trying to be.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, like any charisma check you make is a flat 15. So like even with your lowest charisma check, if I ask you to make a performance check to try to give the clue, it's a 20. Like
25.
No, I said your lowest one is a 20.
Oh, my lowest is 20.
Yeah, so 15 plus 5, because if you don't have proficiency, it would just be a flat 20. So it's just like pretty much everything you do in regards to trying to get the hint off to your party, they get an idea that, well, you're saying something and it sounds alarming, but you're also trying to hint at something else. Like they don't fully get the idea because you're just going without actually providing any context. So
yeah, so she'll like inflect the word. Yeah, no, never mind. She'll just do the intense look.
Okay, so there's a third party of 20 people waiting at the forge,
Yes,
fully armed.
and ready for us.
am I supposed to be talking this loudly about this? Are we letting
She's like, everybody's at the table. She said it loud enough so everyone can hear.
Well, you were kind of whispering at first, so it was kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Sorry,
stage
I should've
whispering,
said
like,
that at the beginning.
it was difficult to understand, like what the intention was.
In which case, Lhasa,
That's right. Like you're saying that, and like both like Nazor and Gamir are like leaning in towards the party's direction while they were eating, and then you turn and they snap back and continue eating like normal.
so Lhasa,
Yes.
you said a dragon at the end. You didn't say a group of armed combatant.
A dragon is protecting the forge. Yes, it was Voltaire's friend in life.
Well, we got more problems. That's great.
Would you like to provide some context to that statement, Hasvard? I am all the way over here. Yep, big deal.
Because I totally believe this. Apparently, there's 20 people armed and ready to stop us outside of the forge. Apparently.
My
like,
visions haven't revealed anything. Where's this information coming from?
Our ally, she had a run-in with some good info, the same way you do, in a way.
Then allow the seer to speak for herself.
Valid.
Tajira said that as an aside, Lithium.
Okay. I missed it. Just want to check.
I swear, I'm listening.
I can tell you that I know what I say is true. The source, it does not matter to you. I was trying to tell everyone that we need allies more than just us to help us get past these men. We might need to join forces with the shadows to defeat them. I cannot see us reaching the forest just by ourselves.
Asa is quiet and contemplative, sitting at the end of the table. He's stopped eating. He's set down his utensils. He runs a hand over his bald head. And who are these people? What do they look like?
I do not know. The information that I got named their numbers and that they were mercenaries.
If they have reached the forge and they are waiting, then it at least means that they have slayed the dragon that was protecting it. One obstacle would be removed in place of another.
I do not know if that is the case. They did not say.
This particular instance, I am aware of my capabilities, as are the rest of the Hammer and how they have led us to this particular destination. I do not know of yours, or who or what provides this information, since you are unwilling in providing it. I will consider what it means that a group of 20 mercenaries have found their way ahead of ourselves at the forge and are waiting to ambush us. It means their target is not the forge, but rather us, or one of the groups with us. They seek to bring harm to either the Hammer or anyone in your group, so as long as we are still allied, we will fight to defend you.
I appreciate that. I do not. I also. Sorry. I do not believe that they are after you. But if it were possible for us to be allies with the. I know it is distasteful, but if we were to become allies with the others and defeat them, perhaps we could get through.
Make a persuasion check. With the minimum being a 25.
You can replace the number. Okay, so it doesn't. Okay, got it. I just had to reread it. So yeah, it's 25.
I've heard everything you've said. I will do everything in my power to ensure that the shaky alliance between us and the Shadeseeker remains intact, should the need arise for both of us to join forces to fight whoever awaits us at the Forge.
I am so grateful and sorry that you have to face this.
It is only our burden to bear. Thank you for your information.
She'll nod and kind of shakily go back to eating.
With nothing else, breakfast will continue. And then preparation time will begin. Is there any particular preparation anyone would like to do? Okay. The hammer goes through their rituals. They prepare their weapons and their armor. They don it all. They pack their various bags full of other magical trinkets and baubles, several of which are just absolutely beautiful in their craftsmanship. And they are armed to the teeth and march out of the temple, with all of you having been escorted out first. And as Lhasa leaves the doors, the temple fades away from existence. And waiting outside is the Shadeseeker, the young girl he's with, and his 6 acolytes.
Good morning, everybody. Did you all sleep well?
Like a lamb.
It was fine.
Not easy sleeping with such dreams.
And she'll say that quietly. Stage whisper.
Martel just smiles at the Shadeseeker and says,
I had a lot on my mind.
No doubt. Well, it looks like everyone's ready to go continue on. Shall we walk and talk? That seems like a good idea, yes?
Yes, use the daylight while we have it.
It's funny because the sun hasn't risen yet.
Use the warmer times of the whatever.
You're not getting any closer. One might say you're not getting warmer.
Me.
Yep. The sun, it's currently about 3 a.m. The sun doesn't rise for nearly another 7 hours or so.
My bad. My internal clock is a little off.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's fair.
I wish I had an internal clock.
Well, you guys have an external clock because it's, there on the calendar, and I update it every time time passes.
I said eternal.
I wasn't talking to you. I was also talking to you, but not in response to your comment.
Can I ask a new question and say is it just in the Google Doc?
Nope. It should have been pinned in the planning chat? Nope. It should be pinned somewhere in your chats. There it is. Yeah, okay. It's pinned in the in-game chat.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
The calendar is, like I said, I update it while we play. Gives you updates on weather for what it will generally look like, phases of the moon, all that fun stuff. I'm still populating it with all of the various holidays and things that exist.
That's very cold.
Yes. Very, very. You're in basically the coldest place on.
Yes. Oh, I'd love to be able to add things.
And so the day begins. What is the marching order?
Martel's going to be up with the Shade Seeker and his allies again.
Okay.
Just to let you know, we're still on Eldarth. If you wanted us to be on the branching path, we're not there.
Yeah, I'm aware. I suppose for the sake of just doing the marching order, we'll pop you over here for now.
Lucy's been doing so well in the back, so she's gonna go back there again.
Snow is going to bring up the rear. Per usual, the handmaiden's going to trail about 60 feet behind Martel. Lhasa is going to lead the hammer, and will take up the middle, as per usual. Is this roughly what everything looks like?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. There is going to be a stint of overland travel where there is not anything extraordinary occurring. Is there any conversations anyone would like to have in this time period?
Lithina, do you think you're going to be okay through this next one?
Define okay. I don't know what worse can happen than my hair falling out.
I know.
Guess.
That's...
No. If Tajiri hears that, be careful not to say such things so out loud. They have a very nasty habit of coming through.
There's also the off chance that your arms might fall off.
Well, that already happened once. They came back, so...
Well, yes, but permanently next time.
That sounds unpleasant.
I've seen worse. I've seen someone's head go.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still alive?
Do you know anyone alive without their head?
Okay, I'm asking about spatial magic, my friend, and the fact that, like, if you separate those 2 points while still keeping them technically connected, it could be possible, alright?
Well, so I guess the point is, when the individuals in the party in our last day's travels had their arms vanish, were they bleeding out while the arms were gone?
No.
Then I suppose someone who would have their head to go somewhere else would not die instantaneously as well. Only if their head was subsequently consumed on whatever other side it went into. I'm talking about an instance where someone's head was teleported away from their body, like physically.
Sorry, I was thinking about, like, just chopping from that point and having it still technically connected so it could just float around. But yes, I see what you said.
Yes.
That's what you mean.
No, I'm just I'm recounting an experience I had, which was we were going through a wild magic field, a burst occurred and someone just was missing a head.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, fountaining blood and just everything. It was terrible.
Did not need to know that that was one of the wild magics. But cool.
Yes. I've seen someone melt from the inside out as all their blood turned to acid. It's been surprisingly mild so far, except for that trip to Scath. I would not wish that again.
Why? Scath's lovely this time of year.
That's funny. It's not.
I hope the wild magic doesn't kill me before my hair comes back. I can't imagine dying looking like this.
This shit gives you a huge-eyed blink. Like, what the?
Priorities.
I mean, I can't control the wild magic, but I can control what I look like, right?
Not while in wild magic, apparently.
I do not know what would happen if my fur fell out.
You'd freeze to death?
Probably.
Wow, I'm actually really curious about something now. If you, Lithian, if you polymorphed because of a wild magic spell to an animal that has hair, would you grow hair because of the polymorph? And then when you polymorph back, would you still have your hair technically then?
When I became a bunny last time, yes, I had fur.
Oh, and then you came back and you didn't have hair?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, never mind. Thank you for answering that.
Yes, and the nuances of wild magic, I suppose, would be better left to an arcane scholar. Which I don't believe we really have one amongst ourselves.
We don't, and that's so rude. I can study. And like Hasvar starts walking off while muttering, I can study things if I want.
Oh, what my brother would do with this. He'd hate it and love it.
Bit of a nerd, that brother of yours?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've only heard tales. Whenever he's visited in the past.
Yeah, we Kirels tend to make our presence known.
You mean leave a trail?
Yes, thank you.
I thought you were muttering to yourself further up ahead. Good boy. Oh, nosy that guy.
I am curious what you've heard of my brother.
Oh, well. Let's see. From the Kirel family, insatiable appetite for magical and arcane pursuits. Travels between the 5 cities of Eridu pretty frequently. Although the rumor is he spends most of his time further west because there is another arcane researcher that he fancies there. An artificer of some kind.
Is there?
That's what the rumors are.
Well, thank you for letting me know.
Oh, I guess it hasn't gone around yet, huh?
We don't see each other very often.
Should have charged you for that information.
Oh, I will make sure that you hear a story that is worth your while at some point.
Sounds good to me. Well, since I've already spilled the proverbial beans, the artificer in question is in Moraga, the furthest city west on Eridu. I've heard that she's an elf and again works with machines and arcane gadgets. It's about all I know.
I appreciate the information. I will definitely pass to my brother about it.
Very good. And perhaps if he finds any other poor saps, I mean, interested adventuring entrepreneurs that want to go out into the waste, send them my way.
If we ever come across anyone venturing out here, I will make sure that they know your name. Don't worry.
Very good.
Yes, everyone will know your name from my lips. That needs to, I mean.
And the polite conversation continues onward. Anybody else have anything to speak on, or do we go to the next scene?
Not at this precise moment.
Just general pleasantries, so shift scenes.
Okay. Polite conversations are had all around. And I'm echoing. I don't like that. That's right.
Sorry.
You travel for roughly about another 2 to 3 hours. The weather does not get any warmer or pleasant, but at the very least, it isn't blizzarding. There is a moderate snowfall, but it really doesn't affect the traversal of these lands, these vast open plains of thick snow and ice. But the first signs of change come in the form of unusually jagged black mountains. And even at a distance, most of you that are moderately learned would recognize these as obsidian. And once you reach a crest of a hill that overlooks a very large valley beyond, you see that there is a distinguishable orange glow through a crack that bisects the valley for about 2 to 3 miles, with mountains of this obsidian on either side, creating this physical wall between you and continuing on the journey. And beyond that glowing chasm are the destroyed remnants of some sort of structure long gone. But without a doubt, from the top of the hill, you can see moving about in numbers of dozens, these glowing pinpricks of orange, blue, purple, and green, as you see dozens of elementals making their way around this ancient battlefield.
Uh,
Well, the music changed, but it's a little pain.
Suddenly I have to zoom all the way out.
Yes, it's an enormous map. I'm getting really into these gigantic battlefields.
Are we on the north or south? Which side?
You
we
are on
coming
the
from?
south side.
Okay, thank you.
Almost dragged out.
I'm going to drag my character and I don't see anything.
Too late. Already dragged.
Sanka.
You still not see anything, Tim?
I do, I see.
I'm about to say, just make sure you're in the right corner.
I see all things.
And I hear all of the things, including
I
myself.
definitely only see a circle around us. It's because it's dark out.
I can see up to here.
That is correct. It is dark.
You said there is they're flame elementals, so would they then light up the areas around them?
They do give off a soft light. I will
We're
account for
echoing
that.
again.
Echo.
Yeah, Kyle, use earbuds.
Oh, sorry.
How dare you use speakers? I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually don't know too many people who actually use speakers on a computer in this day and age.
I do. Just not for talking to people.
Okay, I'm just getting all the tokens on the field.
There, that should be better.
That is
Headphone.
hopefully better. It is. Okay, we're gonna reposition everybody roughly into the shape of our marching order. And shoot people together.
Here, I think. Well, somewhere
You
back
guys
here.
were back. Again, this is just a rough estimate. We'll rearrange as necessary. And to Tim's question, I hate the fact I have to now go edit every single one of these fire elemental tokens.
That was my
Wasn't me.
question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's mine.
Oh, Kyle. All the same, it's one of those. There are quite literally like 20 of them, 25 of them.
It's too bad you can't update them en masse.
If they were attached to a character sheet, I could, but they are not. Because I don't use the Roll20 sheets. I have my own.
Right.
I will do this while you guys observe before you this enormous cataclysm in a river of bubbling lava. One might even say molten hot magma, if you will. Oh, 30-30. That's actually a lot.
Am I supposed to be seeing something other than white and some black column?
You should be seeing rocks and snow.
Haspard wistfully remembers she was not bought.
I see snow, but I don't see red.
Ugh. It deals psychic damage to you, but I think you're resistant to it. Hang on, murdering all my fire elementals while I replace them all with the new glowy ones.
Oh no. Oh no.
What have I done?
Oh, giving me a lot more work, that's what. And by a lot more work, I mean like 2 more minutes worth of work. And now I don't know exactly how many fire elementals were here, so you might get more than you had previously. And you know what? I'm okay with that.
You doomed us, Kyle.
I do that a lot, apparently.
10...
It's okay, I like being doomed.
Okay, the rocks that are in front of us, am I the only one that sees black columns coming right out of those?
You should be seeing
it's
columns.
because of our sight lines.
Yeah, they're too high for you to see over, so you can't see through them.
Got it, okay. I was very confused.
No, you are seeing correctly.
They will change as you move.
That is the
Roll
idea.
20 makes sense to me. Got it, thank you.
Okay, that's about right. Congratulations, welcome to an encounter where I had to balance for, 4 level 15 PCs and then like 12 other NPCs that are of similar power levels. So fair warning, there are a lot of enemies on this map.
Yeah, Martel just looks at the Shade Seeker. Says, how do you suggest we proceed?
Well, if we were all to stand together, we'll have to probably go through the middle where we have to carve a path so that those that are less settled than one such as ourselves will be able to keep up.
He casts a look back towards the hammer.
She just shrugs and says,
Yes, well, I think the plan is to stick together for now, at least.
Is there too many to start baiting them over and killing them off in smaller numbers?
I don't know how many primordials in your life have you fought, Hasvard?
Not many. As
Well.
in next to 0.
When they are governed by a commander, they think and act like a single unit. These are crazed, but they still have a connection to one another, so they still move and act like a single unit, just with significantly less reason. You attack one, you will lure several, and eventually all of them will gain attention to whatever is grabbed one.
It's good knowledge, thank you. That still would mean that we would be able to focus us. No, probably breaking through the centers. Yep. What do you think, Lassa?
The Hammer was prepared for this fight, and when we did not have allies traveling with us, we planned on fighting our way through and killing every single one of them. We have come equipped to deal with the damages that these creatures inflict. We can stand our own in a fight against them, it just would take time. It would become more of a fight of attrition for us than it would be for the group of you.
Do you think if we shot them stealthily from range, you could keep their attention on you?
He nods. Likely.
Look over at Martel and the Shade Seeker. Because... do you not even have ranged weapons? I can't even see any on you. Do any of them have bows?
None of them have bows. None of them are carrying any obvious or perceivable weapons whatsoever. Like,
Cool.
no weapons on their belts, no sword, no scabbards, nothing. They look completely unarmed.
Stand by what I said.
We are well equipped to deal with any situation that is before us. If we need to be ranged support, we can be ranged support. If we need to sneak into the back and be assassins, we can do that. If we need to stand our ground at the front lines, we can do that as well.
Any other opinions?
My opinion on the matter is that I think it's all foolish to pick a fight with one of these hordes. There might only be a handful of them here, but there could be hundreds within a couple of miles from here that could just start swarming in our general direction. I'd, personally don't want to do this.
Is there another way around?
Looking just very plainly, in either direction there are just these tall glass-like black mountains that seem to just carve off in miles in any other direction. No other ways around that don't involve extending this trip far beyond the time we want to stay here in this frozen waste.
Do they look completely solid blocks, or do they look like on this one I can see like there's little like big blocks rather than a single large one?
I'm not following what you're asking.
Are they continuous, or are they made of like stones piled on top of each other?
Well, this carved out canyon is just all like rough shod stone. It's like this split open in the middle. So it's all the rock in the middle of the map here that's housing this river of lava is not obsidian.
Okay.
It is the plain Jane stone you've been dealing with since you've come out here.
Yeah, okay, so I kind of missed, this is a canyon, then it's not a...
Yes, the lava river is at the bottom of it. It's about, well, actually, I guess you really don't know how deep down until you get a lot closer, but yeah. There's a ways down.
Is it cheating to use a measuring tool here?
No.
Okay.
How would you like to be thrown again?
No. Not over lava. I was okay over a pit, but not over lava.
If you even look, she's joking. It's like laughing.
I feel like you don't trust me anymore. Is it because I lost the beard? Is that where the confidence was?
No.
Because honestly, this looks like a lot shorter of a distance than the other can. I'm just saying.
I agree, but at the same time, lava.
The other one seemed bottomless. Is it because you
Yeah,
can see
I'm
what's
okay
going
with
to kill you?
bottomless. No, it's the burning sensation of your flesh as it melts off, and not having a corpse left to be able to have anyone save you.
Ever fallen in the lava?
No.
You die very quickly, if it makes you feel any better.
Oh.
You live for
No.
like about 2 or 3 excruciating seconds, and then just death.
This is out of character, but yeah, about the same amount you would live from falling from a several 100-foot deep canyon.
Actually, if anything, the canyon's way worse, because if you like catch ridges on the way down, then you're just ping-ponging all the way until eventually you come to a close. If it doesn't like crush your skull and instantly kill you at some point, you might survive the whole way down, and that's way worse.
But my backup plan for the canyon was I have a grappling hook, and hopefully I could possibly catch and swing myself to a wall and grab onto the wall.
Same option here.
Spider-Man it.
Yeah, but here there's lava at the bottom. No, makes me panic.
But the grappling hook still works. You just, if you screw up the grappling hook back up, then you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
And besides, it's not like it's instant death. It's only 10d10 fire damage per second.
You're right. It's not instant death.
Nope.
Wow. Anyways, I would rather not be thrown this time. Thanks, guys.
So the plan. Hammer and I are well prepared to draw the attention of the Horde directly onto us. Where would anyone else like to be positioned?
I am unclear how we are getting across.
One problem at a time.
I think that I will be getting myself on top of one of these rocks. I don't know about looks around at the shades at you lot, but I feel like it would probably be better to have some high ground.
My acolytes fight better in the darkness.
All right, well, you enjoy your shade.
The Shadeseeker will just look at Martel.
Was that him trying to make a joke?
I think so.
That was hilarious.
Walks back to the other group. Okay.
Well, time to see what everyone's made of, I suppose.
So where should we be? Or perhaps we should be a little bit of everything. A little frontline support, a little long range, and perhaps a little bit of sneaky assassins.
Martel just smiles at the Shadeseeker and says,
Won't lie, a demonstration of your skills would go a long way.
Well, of course, my dear. Very well, acolytes. You two, support from the rear. You two, join the hammer up on the front lines. And you two, well, step onto the other side of the canyon and see what you can find and what havoc you can wreak.
And they all the acolytes don't really respond or acknowledge the Shadeseeker's orders. They just kind of begin changing positions. So prior to any sort of initiative being rolled, you are welcome to move yourself in, let me just get the big old box. Anywhere roughly in, hang on. Okay, I'm drawing a bunch of little squares. This is frustrating.
It's really hard to see. Really hard to see.
Oh, okay, I see what happened. I actually did draw it, but it was just so thin, I didn't see it.
yeah, there you go. It's like I can see the box that I think you were going for.
Okay, so we're gonna start to...
He just made it huge.
This is
This.
You are free to start anywhere in the box.
Before we do start, Tajiro's gonna tell them, I think I can make people float across.
Oh. This is another thing I forgot about on my level up. CJ, my radius increased to ridiculous proportions.
Yay, is this the 120 feet one?
This is the 120 feet of mist.
Oh boy.
Circle. Tint. Let's
I'm
make it.
just gonna stand behind Lithium.
Yeah.
Why is there a giant?
I'll explain it in the narrative shortly.
What is there, giant?
Can I be on the hill?
Yeah, you can spend some time to climb up there. I can't really place you on top of it because you won't be able to see outside of the ring. You'll probably want to be on the front of it so you can actually see.
Thank you.
Nope, not 33. That's way too big of a unit.
No. 33.
Have you ever seen a 33 5-foot square unit? We're about to.
Oh.
Okay. These will be my assassin boys. These will be my long range.
They should hold this out here. Wow. So much room for activities.
So much space. But you're gonna see why, because it's going to get hectic real fast. Did you want to participate in the longest combat of your life? Because here it comes.
Oh.
Stealth!
Wait for your turn.
What?
Can I cast a cantrip before we start, or no?
Nope.
Okay.
This is a positioning phase and nothing more. Oh, Snow's actually just gonna stay back.
Good choice, Snow.
So I don't get to choose to stealth. Dang.
Nope. Alright, now I'm gonna do the horrific thing of adding everybody to the initiative order.
Oh, that's a list.
Hang on, it's not done yet. Spoilers, I have guys on the GM layer too.
Ooh.
One more.
Just hoping I actually got everybody.
Yay! I got a 19.
But I'm definitely doing some bulk ones. Sure. But first, I gotta start with all my NPCs. Handmaiden. Wherever she is. There we go. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. My Roll20 is being so slow.
I don't know.
I hate it. Yeah, like whenever I click on anything to change a value, it takes about a 30-second lag time before it enters, which is the worst circumstance when I have to do this with, 500,000 tokens. Having some regrets. I just realized that might be its issue. The map might be a little bit too daunting for Roll20.
Yeah, maybe.
In which case, I think I'm just doing all of the factions on their own group initiative. I think that might be a little easier. Because if I input every initiative individually, I might be here for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, probably not ideal.
Do we have a number for Lithian?
Oh, hold on. Ooh, 22.
What was it?
22.
22.
Very nice.
That's what happens when you have advantage on initiative.
It does help.
Martel has evidently decided she wants to definitely sit back and see what everybody's can do.
Oh, no, not 222. Lithian is not taking that much of an initiative.
She leads you to the future.
And again, for the sake of this, I'm actually going to minimize the hammer down to just Lhasa, and they're all going to go on the same turn. I'm learning Roll20's limitations. You know, more of the ones I've already learned. I got a little bit too daring with this map, but I really wanted a big map with a gigantic lava river down the middle, so here we are. I made that decision earlier today. I was like, all right, well, I know this thing's going to happen. What does it look like? I'm like, big river of lava. So here we are.
Is there a Sith Lord somewhere?
There might be an Easter egg somewhere in the river if you guys want to spend some time investigating it.
Just save the time now and say no.
I'm not sure I understand the reference. When is there a lake of lava that a Sith Lord falls into?
When
Most people
when
are-
Obi-Wan, I mean, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the prequels trilogy yet, but you know, when Obi-Wan dices up Anakin and he falls onto the shore of the river of lava on Mustafar, and he's burning alive. Yeah, that whole shtick.
So the reference was more that we're seeing that happening right now. He wouldn't actually be in the river of lava.
I mean, there might be a completely charred over corpse with a laser sword somewhere in this river if you spend the time looking for it.
All right, well, take that, Anakin.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, when you have opportunities for fun Easter eggs, you just slip them in and see if someone takes the time to find them, you know? I'm about that life.
Martel has no use for a laser sword.
That's a shame. They're really cool.
I'm sure they.
What about a laser whip?
Oh hell yeah!
We got
Fighting some pirates as a time traveling Nazi. It's all about that life.
Wow, that came all the way back around somehow.
Gotta take the references when you can.
Hang on, almost there. Just you know, killing groups of people as I
Oh, he's doing it for us. Yay.
well, unfortunately, just imagine if these were, you know, swarms of elementals. Maybe that would have been the more elegant way to do this.
It'd be elemental, my dear Watson.
Yeah. Make an elemental
DJ?
swarm stat block.
You
Sure.
released it. You did this with your glib.
All right, well, Hazard's dying first.
So who's got the high ground?
Considering,
Us at the moment.
well, I mean, there is a destroyed fort on the other side with some partially intact walls, so I'm actually willing to say whoever is inside the fort, which is not you guys. But you are on a side where there's a bunch of you know, cliffs and stuff, so you got that going for you. It's really hard to say at this point. I'm gonna delete a bunch of these guys from the initiative order. Don't worry, it's like a lot of these things are not going to be focusing on you guys directly.
Yet.
Yet. I mean, they're definitely going to pick fights with you for sure, but more on an individual basis. And I'll probably just add those tokens to the initiative order as they come into contact with you guys. Otherwise, again, I'm like trying to follow 35, 50 tokens. That was a weird number, weird way to round that up, but yeah. Oh, then of course the Shadeseekers boys, who actually have their own initiatives because they're doing different roles.
Sorry.
No, but this is me and really bad planning. I thought of this really cool thing to do, but then I also didn't take into consideration, well, yeah, but what do you want to do with 50 enemies in a game? And I didn't realize that was the worst choice I could have made. There definitely should have been more cinematic things happening with like the Hammer and the Shadeseekers group attracting the Horde over and like giving you guys a special mission to go do. That would have been the more elegant choice. And
Okay.
considering this is going to take me quite literally 25 minutes to set up, we might get to 3 hours. I might call it and rearrange a little bit for next week.
That's what needs to be done.
I'm highly considering it. I won't lie to you. As much fun as I would really like to do this, it's going to be.
Like, technically, we can also call it here. It is like 10:15. It's only 15 more minutes to get to the 10:30 mark.
Yep, that's what I was saying. Okay. Okay. Well, the acolytes really wanna, you know, show off their abilities. They were like, Martell's like, I really want to see what you guys can do, and these guys are just like, we're not showing it, but we're excited. Because so far their initiatives are 22 and 24. Oh, that one's a little less impressive. 17. Biggin. Yeah, I'm gonna roll some. The more I'm staring at this, as much fun as I might have running a bunch of combat. If Roll20 is gonna be really slow about this, I don't want that to bog too much. It's already going to be a lot of slog. Well, oops, I murdered the map. There we go, we're fine. Well, as discussed, I'm going to give you guys the bit of a narrative read-in for this, and then we're going to finish the session where I'm going to mildly rehash out my plan for how this is going to be run next week.
Okay.
So as all the plans are discussed briefly about how to approach this, the Shadeseekers acolytes, you watch as they hold their hands out before themselves with their fingers splayed out, kind of forming a sphere with their fingers. And the shards of shadow kind of coalesce in them, and then the shadow washes over their bodies, and they lose their more corporeal forms and take on mildly incorporeal ones. And you watch as two of them grow to about 20 feet in height and become very dense and dark, like shadow giants. Two of which, their figures slim, the robes vanishing, and at the ends of their hands, they seem to have just these sharp, wispy blades of black reflective metal instead of hands. And the other two, likewise, lose quite a bit of their mass, but in place of one hand, they have this huge curving crescent. And then in the other hand, you watch as they sort of pull at an imaginary bowstring, and an arrow of shadow just appears on the bow, and they kind of sit at the ready to attack. The Shadeseeker and the young girl, however, are still, as they have appeared the whole time, are standing very casually, just sort of amidst everybody, just sort of watching. The Hammer, they reach into a couple of the bags Gamir have, retrieving several items, one of which is handed to Now, which appears to be something that connects to her plate mail and is the best way to describe it, an enormous shoulder-mounted ballista. And then in unison, when they speak out what sounds like some sort of oath in Giant, you watch as their runes along their armor that have been very carefully and intricately carved into the edges and the filigree begin to light up from toe to the tip of helmet, changing colors in various places, and they appear to be just glowing with magical energy. And all of their respective groups take up their ready stances, and at Lassa's hand, kind of wavering in the air, he lowers it, and the hammer and the two shadow giants begin just marching forward at a jog, eventually picking up to a full-fledged run, screaming to attract attention onto themselves. And like a maelstrom, you feel the ground beneath you begin to vibrate as in front of you, amidst these rocks and closer to the river itself, you watch just materializing out of the snow in swirls of small tornadoes and ice are these partially frozen water elementals, about 25 of them or so. And flowing up out of the cracks of this river of lava you see glowing ahead, you watch as numerous torches begin to sort of crawl up and over and just begin swarming in the direction of the charging Goliaths. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Yay.
Yay!
Excited.
So I can figure out what the heck I'm going to do for this next week.
Big fight.
Big fight.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do just like classic big fight, but it ain't gonna work. So I might do some elemental swarms. I might do, as I mentioned earlier, something that's a bit more cinematic, where like the hammer and the shadow giants are kind of like attracting the whole horde to them, and you guys have to go, do some side something or other to keep them alive. I don't know. I'll figure it out and I'll talk to you guys over the week.
Yeah, figure it out.
Otherwise,
Hey, chat. Thanks for hanging out. Love you guys.
That's it. Yeah, we'll talk to you guys all next week. Again, seriously, Lithian's art, super great. Definitely go check out the artist on Twitter. He also has a Facebook that I've also gone and looked at. That's Matt Morrow Art. Go check him out. Super, super great stuff. He's incredibly humble and still learning about his pricing. So if he undercharges you, tip him very handsomely because his artwork is great. And make sure you tell him that, because artists need that. It's what we live off. Otherwise, we'll catch you guys all next week on Friday with whatever the heck I figure out this is going to be. And hopefully everyone survives. Until then, and if you can do nothing else, make good choices. Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.